Thoth once said, "He who moves with harmony moves beyond time." For thousands of years, the ancient Egyptian god of wisdom guarded a secret. That movement is not just physical, it's alchemical. Modern science is only now beginning to prove what the ancients already knew. Your body can reverse aging when you train it in specific sacred ways. These are the 5 scientifically proven exercises that awaken your life force, repair your cells, and slow, even reverse, the biological clock. Let's begin. 1. The Tibetan 5 rites. The resurrection flow. Thoth once said, "He who moves the body with awareness moves the spirit beyond decay." The first ancient exercise that reverses aging is known as the Tibetan 5 rites, or as Thoth described it in his tablets, the resurrection flow. It's a series of 5 sacred movements that are thousands of years old, passed from the Himalayan monasteries to those who understood the true alchemy of motion. To the untrained eye, these movements may look simple, but hidden beneath them is a mechanism that activates your body's energy vortices, the same centers science now connects to your endocrine system, the glands responsible for youth, vitality, and hormonal balance. Each of these rites, the spinning, the arching, the lifting, the bending, and the flow, work together to realign your energy centers, clear blockages, and stimulate the production of vital hormones like DHEA and growth hormone, the very chemicals that slow cellular aging. When you perform the first rite, you spin clockwise with your arms outstretched, eyes fixed on a point. This rotation stimulates the body's 7 vortexes, or chakras, bringing them into harmony. Modern science would call this a vestibular reset, improving balance, coordination, and inner ear function. But to Thoth, it was more profound. The circular motion represented the universe itself, endless, eternal, and self-renewing. The second rite involves lifting your legs while lying flat on your back and raising your head simultaneously. It strengthens the core and stimulates the solar plexus, the seat of willpower and digestion. Scientifically, it activates the lower abdominal muscles and improves blood flow to vital organs, enhancing metabolism and detoxification. In Thoth's teachings, this motion was said to awaken the inner sun, the light within the human vessel. The third rite is performed on your knees, arching backward with your hands on your thighs and your chin lifted toward the heavens. This movement opens the throat and chest, improving respiratory capacity and stimulating the thyroid, a gland directly linked to metabolism and energy regulation. Modern studies show that these backbends increase spinal flexibility, improve posture, and release endorphins that elevate mood. Thoth described this rite as the act of opening the gateway of truth, symbolizing communication with the divine. In the fourth rite, you sit with your legs extended in front of you, palms pressed into the ground beside your hips. As you inhale, you lift your body into a tabletop position, forming a bridge between heaven and earth. This pose strengthens your arms, glutes and core, improving blood flow and spinal alignment. Science confirms that such compound movements activate multiple muscle groups, increasing oxygen utilization and stimulating mitochondria, your cell's power generators. Thoth referred to this rite as the bridge of rebirth, where the mortal form remembers its divine origin. The fifth and final rite mirrors the transition between 2 sacred positions, downward dog and upward dog, the same flow later adopted by yogic traditions. This movement stretches the spine, tones the entire body, and opens the chest and hamstrings. But beyond its physical benefits, it stimulates the pineal gland, the seat of intuition and longevity. Thoth believed this gland was the eye of Horus within, the antenna to higher consciousness, and the secret of eternal awareness. When practiced together, these 5 rites form what Thoth called the resurrection flow, a sacred circuit that revives the flow of life force energy, or Ka. In modern language, it increases mitochondrial efficiency, enhances circulation, reduces oxidative stress, and regulates hormone production, all scientifically verified mechanisms of reversing aging. Harvard researchers have found that consistent movement practices like these can actually increase telomerase activity, the enzyme that rebuilds telomeres, the protective caps of your DNA. Longer telomeres mean slower cellular aging. In other words, these ancient monks were not only moving their bodies, they were commanding their cells to remember youth. But here's the secret: Thoth whispered through time. The power of the 5 rites doesn't come from speed or effort. It comes from intention and breath. Each movement must be performed with mindful awareness, synchronizing breath and motion. When breath aligns with movement, energy flows freely, and when energy flows freely, time loses its grip. In his emerald tablets, Thoth spoke of circulating the light, a phrase later echoed in Taoist and yogic teachings. The 5 rites are precisely that, circulating light through your form, commanding it to heal, restore, and awaken. Start with 3 repetitions of each rite daily, and gradually build up to 21, the sacred number representing transformation. Within weeks, your posture straightens, your energy increases, your sleep deepens, and your mood lifts. Within months, something more profound happens. You begin to feel timeless. Science explains it as hormonal balance, improved oxygenation, and cellular repair. Thoth described it as returning the vessel to the rhythm of eternity. When you move through these rites, you're not simply exercising, you're performing an ancient ritual, syncing your biology with cosmic order. Each motion whispers to your DNA, remember who you are, remember you are light made flesh. So tomorrow morning, before the noise of the world seeps in, find a quiet space, breathe deeply, begin the first spin. Let your body remember what it once knew, that movement is medicine, and harmony is immortality. Because when your energy flows in the pattern of the cosmos, you don't just live longer, you live agelessly. 2. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, the breath of Ra. Thoth once said, breath is the bridge between form and spirit. He who masters breath, masters life. To the ancients, breath wasn't just air, it was sacred fire. It was Ra, the living essence of the sun, entering your body with each inhale. The Egyptians believed that when you breathe deeply and consciously, you don't just fill your lungs, you awaken divine intelligence within every cell. Modern science now confirms what Thoth's initiates knew thousands of years ago, that deep diaphragmatic breathing can literally reverse the effects of stress, aging, and disease. When you breathe shallowly, as most people do, you confine your energy to the upper chest. Your heart races, cortisol spikes, and your nervous system locks into survival mode. Over time, this constant low-level panic accelerates cellular aging, weakens immunity, and drains vitality. But when you breathe deeply into your diaphragm, a transformation happens. Your body shifts from the sympathetic state, the mode of fight or flight, into the parasympathetic state, the realm of rest, repair, and regeneration. This is where healing begins. Thoth called it returning to divine order. Science calls it vagal activation, stimulating the vagus nerve, a vast communication line that links your brain, heart, and organs. When activated through slow rhythmic breathing, this nerve lowers blood pressure, balances hormones, and floods your system with endorphins and nitric oxide, natural compounds of rejuvenation. Let's go deeper. When you take a deep breath, your diaphragm, that dome-shaped muscle beneath your lungs, pushes downward, drawing air into the lower lobes where blood flow is richest. This increases oxygen exchange and boosts mitochondrial efficiency, the key to longevity. Mitochondria are your body's energy generators. The more efficiently they work, the slower you age. Oxygen is their sacred fuel, and every deep breath feeds them with life. Now imagine breathing this way with intention, visualizing each inhale as golden sunlight, the energy of Ra, entering your body. As you breathe in, picture it illuminating every cell, cleansing it of stagnation. As you exhale, imagine releasing old emotions, toxins, and fatigue, everything not in harmony with your higher vibration. This is not mere imagination, it's biochemical transformation. Studies show that deep controlled breathing lowers oxidative stress, slows heart rate variability, and increases the production of melatonin, the hormone that governs sleep, cellular repair, and youth. Ancient Egyptian initiates practiced this every sunrise, facing east toward the horizon, palms open, breathing in rhythm with the rising sun. To them, the sun wasn't a symbol, it was a living consciousness that shared its light with those who breathed consciously. Thoth described this ritual as drinking from the lungs of the cosmos. Here's a simple way to practice the breath of Ra. Find stillness, sit comfortably, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, close your eyes, inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Feel your abdomen rise, not your chest. Hold for 4 seconds, let the light of Ra expand within you. Exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Release tension, thoughts, and noise. Pause for 2 seconds. Rest in stillness, the moment between worlds. Repeat for 10 minutes daily. At first, it feels ordinary, simple, even. But as you continue, something changes. Your mind quiets, your heartbeat slows, your body grows warm and still. This is not relaxation, this is cellular awakening. Deep diaphragmatic breathing increases blood oxygenation, which enhances brain function and memory. It improves digestion, strengthens the immune system, and reduces inflammation, the root cause of premature aging. Even more fascinating, research from Harvard and Stanford has shown that mindful breathing practices can lengthen telomeres, the protective ends of your DNA that determine your biological age. Each conscious breath, then, is not just spiritual, it's scientific rejuvenation. And yet, Thoth spoke of something beyond biology. He said, when breath enters fully, light enters the soul, because when you breathe deeply, you're not just nourishing your body, you're attuning yourself to the rhythm of the cosmos. The inhale mirrors the expansion of the universe, the exhale, its contraction. The breath is the eternal heartbeat of creation, the pulse of life moving through all things. Over time, the breath of transforms your energy field. People begin to notice something different about you. Your eyes brighter, your skin glowing, your presence calm yet powerful. You radiate youth, but not from vanity, from alignment. And that's what Thoth meant by immortality, not the absence of death, but the presence of unbroken life. The ancients practiced breath as devotion, the art of remembering that every inhale is a gift, and every exhale is a surrender. Science calls it biohacking, Thoth called it enlightenment. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, sit in silence, face the sun, and breathe. Feel the warmth of Ra filling your lungs, let it travel into your bloodstream, your brain, your bones. And as you exhale, let every worry dissolve into the desert wind, because youth is not found in creams or pills, it's found in the space between your breaths. The breath of Ra is not just air, it is the key to remembering that you are eternal. 3. Walking barefoot on earth. The grounding circuit Thoth once said, to touch the earth is to remember the body's origin. The third practice in reversing the aging process isn't about movement or breath, it's about connection, the simple yet forgotten act of walking barefoot on the ground. Modern scientists call it grounding or earthing. Thoth called it the circuit of life. In his teachings, he revealed that the human body is a vessel of energy, an extension of the earth itself, and when disconnected from that source, the body begins to decay. Today, most people live insulated from the earth's electrical field, walking on rubber soles, sleeping in elevated beds, surrounded by electromagnetic waves that disrupt our natural balance. We've cut the invisible cord that connects us to the planet that gave us life. But when your bare feet touch the soil, grass, sand, or stone, something extraordinary happens. Electrons, the Earth's subtle energy, flow into your body, neutralizing free radicals and reducing inflammation, which scientists have identified as the root cause of nearly every disease and the primary driver of aging. These free radicals, unstable molecules produced by stress, pollution, and poor lifestyle, wreak havoc on your cells, damaging DNA and accelerating biological decline. The Earth, however, holds an infinite reservoir of negatively charged electrons, the most powerful natural antioxidants in existence. When you walk barefoot, you literally absorb healing energy directly from the planet. Thoth described this process poetically. The Earth breathes through your feet. With every step, it whispers life back into you. But what's truly fascinating is that modern research has begun to confirm this ancient wisdom. Studies from the Journal of Environmental and Public Health show that grounding reduces blood viscosity, improves sleep, and lowers cortisol levels, the stress hormone that accelerates aging and weakens immunity. When your feet connect to the earth, your heart rate stabilizes, inflammation markers drop, and your body begins to recalibrate itself to the planet's natural frequency, about 7.83 Hz, known as the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the earth. And Thoth's followers believed this frequency was divine. They claimed that the earth was a living conscious being, a mother, not a rock, and that to walk upon her barefoot was a sacred act of communion. In ancient temples, before initiates could receive higher teachings, they were required to spend days walking in silence upon sacred ground, to rejoin the current of life. They would walk through desert sands at dawn, feeling the pulse beneath them. It was believed that only when one's energy harmonized with the earth could the higher mind awaken. Science supports this too. Grounding reduces oxidative stress and increases ATP production, the molecule that powers every cell in your body. More ATP means more energy, faster repair, and longer life. It's not just a spiritual metaphor, it's a biological truth. You see, your body is an electrical system. Your heart beats through electrical impulses, your brain communicates through electrical signals, and every cell functions through electric potential. When you're disconnected from the earth, that system becomes unstable, like a machine unplugged from its power source. But when you reconnect, even for 15 minutes a day, your entire physiology begins to align with the planet's natural rhythm. Try it. Step outside tomorrow morning, no shoes, no distractions. Feel the dew of the grass or the warmth of the sand beneath your feet. At first, it might just feel grounding in the emotional sense, peaceful, calm. But stay a little longer, and you'll begin to notice something deeper, a subtle hum, a tingling warmth rising through your legs, a deep exhale from your nervous system. That's your energy field syncing with the earth's, the grounding circuit coming online. And as Thoth taught, when that connection is restored, the body begins to heal itself effortlessly. Your sleep deepens, your mood stabilizes, your inflammation fades. You start to feel younger not just in your skin, but in your soul. He wrote in the emerald tablets, "Walk upon the living stone, for within it flows the current of eternity." Those who lived by this teaching understood something profound, that youth isn't only about preserving the body, but maintaining connection to the source that sustains it. Grounding is nature's simplest medicine, and yet it's free, available to you every moment. 15 minutes a day can reset your circadian rhythm, balance your hormones, and rejuvenate your immune system. To the scientists, it's electrons restoring equilibrium. To Thoth, it's divine energy restoring harmony between man and the cosmos. So tonight, before you sleep, step outside, let your feet meet the earth, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and imagine the energy of the planet, the pulse of Ra's creation, flowing upward into your body. With every breath, feel it circulate through your heart, cleansing, healing, renewing. Because to be grounded is to be eternal, rooted in the same soil from which life first arose. And when your energy flows once again through the grounding circuit, you don't just walk upon the earth, you walk with it, timeless, ageless, alive. 4. Cold water immersion. The water of eternity, Thoth once wrote. In still water, man sees his reflection. In cold water, he meets his truth. The fourth practice of rejuvenation is one of the oldest and most misunderstood, immersion in cold water. Modern science praises it for boosting immunity, enhancing mood, and stimulating longevity. But Thoth and the ancient initiates of Chem saw it as something far greater, a baptism of renewal, a ritual for cleansing the illusion of mortality. They called it the water of eternity. In the sacred halls of Thoth's temples, initiates seeking enlightenment would begin their training with the ritual of the cold waters. At dawn, before the first rays of Ra touched the horizon, they would wade into the river, silent, trembling, but unafraid. The shock of the cold wasn't punishment, it was purification. It was the reminder that comfort weakens and friction awakens. Today, modern research explains what the ancients felt in their bones. When you expose your body to cold water, your blood vessels constrict, forcing blood toward your vital organs. As you emerge and warm again, those vessels dilate, flushing toxins, improving circulation, and flooding your system with fresh oxygen and nutrients. But the real miracle happens beneath the skin. Cold exposure activates brown adipose tissue, a special type of fat that burns energy to produce heat. This not only strengthens your metabolism but increases mitochondrial density, which scientists recognize as one of the key factors in slowing aging. More mitochondria mean more energy, more vitality, and more resilience. Thoth's disciples didn't know the term mitochondria, but they spoke of the same principle. They said cold water ignites the inner flame. The flame was the life force, the ka, the divine current that when awakened granted the body strength and the soul clarity. Cold immersion also triggers a surge of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter linked to alertness, focus, and elevated mood. This is why, after a cold shower or plunge, you don't just feel awake, you feel alive. Your senses sharpen, your mind clears. The noise of anxiety dissolves. Thoth taught that this clarity wasn't just physical, it was spiritual alignment. He said, "Only in the chill of contrast does the soul remember warmth." When you submerge yourself in cold water, you enter a sacred dialogue with your body. You face discomfort, resistance, even fear, and yet you stay. You breathe, you endure. This trains your nervous system to remain calm under pressure, a skill that modern neuroscience now calls stress adaptation. It strengthens your heart, both physically and metaphorically. The ancient Egyptians believed that those who could master the cold could master life itself, for they understood that resilience is the true fountain of youth. Cold water immersion also enhances autophagy, your body's natural process of recycling damaged cells and generating new ones. It's biological renewal, the same process that keeps the young youthful and the old vibrant. Each time you step into the cold, your body enters a mild form of stress that awakens its dormant powers of regeneration. To Thoth, this was the ultimate metaphor of spiritual rebirth. The initiate enters the cold, the symbolic realm of death, discomfort, surrender, and emerges renewed, stronger, and illuminated. Just as Re descends into the underworld each night to be reborn with the dawn, so too does your body descend into the cold to rise again in strength. Here's how to begin your own ritual of the water of eternity. Start small. End your regular shower with 30 seconds of cold water. Breathe deeply, not shallow gasps, but calm, rhythmic breaths. Gradually increase. Over days and weeks, build up to 2-3 minutes. The key isn't endurance, it's surrender. Embrace stillness. Focus your mind on your breath and heartbeat. Feel the energy awaken within. You'll notice the changes quickly. Sharper focus, deeper sleep, more stable mood, radiant skin, and a body that feels light and energized. But deeper still, you'll feel a shift in identity, as though something ancient within you has reawakened. Because cold water doesn't just test the body, it reminds the soul of its eternal nature. Science now calls this hormesis, the idea that controlled stress strengthens the organism. Thoth called it divine balance, the alchemy of opposites, fire and ice, stillness and movement, life and death. To submerge yourself in the cold is to return to the primordial waters from which life itself was born. It's to remember that discomfort is not your enemy, it is the sculptor of your spirit. So tomorrow, as you stand before that stream of cold water, don't hesitate. Step in, breathe deeply, feel the ancient current of Reda washing through you. Let it silence the mind, strengthen the heart, and awaken the flame within your chest. Because in those few sacred moments, as your breath steadies and your fear dissolves, you're not just enduring, you're renewing. And when you rise from the water of eternity, dripping, shivering, alive, you'll realize that the ancients were right all along. Cold is not death. Cold is rebirth. 5. Qigong. The flow of immortality. Qigong is not merely an exercise. It is a sacred dialogue between your body, your energy, and the cosmos. The ancient Taoists believed that life itself is the movement of qi, the vital energy that animates all living things. To stop this flow is to decay. To enhance it is to become ageless. That is why Qigong, often called the flow of immortality, has been practiced for thousands of years to reverse the effects of aging and restore vitality. Now, before you think this is some mystical exaggeration, science agrees. Studies from Harvard, Stanford, and major medical institutions confirm that regular Qigong practice increases telomerase activity. Telomerase is the enzyme that protects and repairs your DNA, the very essence of aging itself. When telomerase, the caps at the end of your chromosomes, shorten, your cells die faster. But Qigong slows, and in some cases, reverses this process. It literally tells your body, live longer, but what makes it truly divine is the way it heals you, not through force, but through flow. Unlike harsh workouts that deplete your energy, Qigong replenishes it. It blends slow, intentional movements with deep breathing and focused awareness. When practiced correctly, it brings your nervous system into a state of coherence, meaning your heart, brain, and lungs synchronize in perfect rhythm. Ancient Chinese masters said that when the three treasures, Jing body essence, Qi vital energy, and Shen spirit, move in harmony, aging becomes an illusion. Modern science describes this as a perfect balance between the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. In this state, your body no longer reacts to life with stress, it responds with awareness. Here's what happens inside you during Qigong. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure drops. Your immune system activates. Your cells start repairing themselves at a faster rate. Even your brain waves shift into alpha and theta states, the same frequencies monks reach during deep meditation. It's as if you enter a space where time doesn't exist, where your body remembers how young it truly is. Now imagine combining this ancient art with Thoth's teachings, the wisdom of rhythmic balance, of becoming one with the cosmic pulse. Thoth taught that immortality was not achieved by defying death but by aligning with the eternal rhythm of life itself. Qigong is that alignment in motion. Every inhale becomes a prayer, every exhale, a release. When you stand in silence, feet grounded, arms flowing like water, and your breath moving like wind, you become a vessel of cosmic energy. You are no longer just exercising, you are returning to the original design of your being, a self-repairing, self-healing organism that thrives in flow. Many practitioners report that after a few weeks their skin glows differently, their posture straightens, their energy stabilizes. They feel ageless, not in appearance alone, but in spirit. Because Qigong doesn't just make you look young, it makes you remember youth. Youth is not lost with age, it's lost when energy stops moving, and when you learn to move Qi again, you realize you never truly age. You only forgot how to flow. So as Thoth once whispered, he who commands his energy commands time itself. Qigong teaches you that command, gently, gracefully, eternally. The secret to reversing aging is not to fight time, but to flow with it until time itself forgets your name. So, my friend, after hearing all this, understand something profound. You are not aging. You are accumulating stagnation. The moment you learn to move energy, breathe deeply, ground yourself, embrace the elements and flow with life, time begins to dissolve. Thoth taught that the body is not a prison, it's a temple of transformation. Every breath, every movement, every drop of cold water and beam of sunlight is alchemy in motion. The modern world told you to chase youth through creams and surgeries, but the ancients knew the truth. Youth is not a look, it's a vibration. When you practice the Tibetan 5 rites, you awaken the dormant energy centers within you, your inner suns. When you breathe with the diaphragm, you activate the healing codes of oxygen, the breath of Ra. When you walk barefoot, you reconnect your nervous system to the infinite heartbeat of the earth. When you submerge in cold water, you cleanse your body in the fountain of eternity. And when you flow with Qigong, you merge your being with the timeless dance of the universe itself. These are not exercises, they are keys to restoring what you've forgotten, that aging is only real for those who live out of harmony with life. Science now calls it reversing cellular aging. Thoth called it remembering the eternal self. Two languages describing the same truth, that immortality begins when the mind stops identifying with decay. If you make these 5 rituals a part of your daily life, not as a routine, but as a sacred ceremony, you will feel it. Your energy will rise, your mind will quiet, your face will soften, and the world will feel lighter, as if you've stepped beyond the grasp of time. So, before you chase the next anti-aging product, ask yourself this: when was the last time you truly felt alive? Because the goal is not to live forever, it's to live so fully that forever becomes your natural state. Thoth once said, "He who flows with the breath of eternity shall not know the chains of age." So breathe, move, and remember, your body is not deteriorating, it's waiting for you to awaken it. Welcome back to the age of reversal, where time bends to the rhythm of your energy, and you, once again, become eternal.